Good day, students. I hope everybody is doing great. Good. Today, our strength here is number. Our substrength is ratio and proportion. Under the ratio and proportion, what we are going to talk about is how to use ratio to share a given quantity, or sharing quantities by using a given ratio. Using ratio to divide a certain quantities of numbers, or it could be money or any items, using ratio to share a given numbers. Okay, good. These lessons have been taken from the resource pack of BS6, strand number 1, substrand 4, content standard 2, and indicator 2. Okay, so you can also verify our lesson from the new curriculum of the BS6. Good. Let's proceed. Sorry. Sharing quantities by using a given ratio. As you know, we have already discussed the meaning of the ratio. We said ratio is the relationship between two quantities, which shows that one quantity is being greater than the other quantity. Ratio compare two quantities of the same kind. If you want to use a ratio to share a certain amount or a certain number or a certain quantity, using ratio to share quantities is to find the total ratios by adding the ratios of the peoples together, or the ratios together. So the first thing you have to do is that you first find the total ratio. And this is how we do it. The ratio given, you have to sum them up. If it is 2 to 1, then you sum the 2 and the 1 to get the 3. So the 3 will be the total ratio here. So that should be the first thing that you can do. After then, you write or express each person's fractions of the total ratios, and then multiply by the quantity to be shared to get a person's shared. This is the next procedure after you have added the ratio to get a total ratio. Then those people involved of sharing that particular quantity, then you express them in their fraction, because once you have the total, each ratio will be over the total, and then you multiply by the quantity that has been given to you to share. Okay, good. So don't forget about adding all the ratios to get the total ratios. After then, you express them in their fraction. You take the person involved in sharing that particular quantities, their ratios over the total ratio that you have gotten, and then you multiply by the entire quantities or the items that you are going to share. Then let's solve one more example of using ratio to share a given quantity. Okay. Now, example. Ifo, Bedu and Ali contributed 100 Ghana cedi, 200 Ghana cedi, and 300 Ghana cedi, respectively, for a joint investment. If they agreed to share a profit of 3,600 Ghana cedi according to their contribution, A, find the ratio of Efo to Badu to Ali in the simplest form. B, find each shares of the profits. Now, per what I have written here, what it means that is that three people called Efo, Bedu, and Ali. They sat and contribute a certain amount to start a business. Okay, so the first person contributes 100 Ghana cedi, the second 200 Ghana cedi, and the third 300 Ghana cedi, respectively. Respectively means what? The first 100 Ghana cedi belongs to the first person, the second 200 Ghana cedi belongs to the second person, and the last 300 Ghana cedi also belongs to the last person. So if we contribute 100 Ghana cedi, Badu also contribute 200 Ghana cedi, and Ali also contribute 300 Ghana cedi for a joint business. They also agree to share a profit of 3,600 according to their contribution. Now it means that the profits are not going to share equally. The car the buyer so okay, so they will use their contribution ratio to share the amount of profits that has accrued here. So in this time, they are not going to share the profit equal because Obi Sika Susnibi. So they will base on their contribution to share that. So that is why the A instructed you to find the ratio of Efo to Badu to Ali. So you find the ratio of the amount of money contributed in simplest form. After then, use the ratio to share the profit among themselves. Okay, good. Let's solve it. Solution. Good. A. The A, find the ratio of Efo to Badu to Ali. Okay, good. To Ali. That will be 100 to 200 to 300. Okay, good. So therefore, you write them in mathematical form. So it will be 100 here to 200 to 300. Then you do the cancellation to all the three numbers here. So when you cancel, the last zero here will cancel the last zero here. Okay. So the remaining ratio here will be 10 to 20 to 30. Okay, good. Then you can also cancel the last zeros here. Okay, then we have 1, 2, 2, 2, 3. Okay, and this is the simplest ratio here. So we have gotten 1 to 2 to 3. Okay, good. That is the simplest ratio. Now, the B says find each share of the profits. That is the B. So we are going to find the total ratios first. Of 1 to 2 to 3. Okay. And that will be 1 plus 2 plus 3. That will be equal to 6. Okay. And that is the total ratios. Sorry. So now, after getting your total ratio here, then you express them in a fraction for each person. So when you take a full, fraction for A4 is 1 out of 6 times the profit. Okay. Then when you take Bedu, that one too, the fraction for Bedu will also be 2 out of 6 times the profits. Good. Then you take Ali. So Ali part of the profits here. Ali's part of the profits or part of the total ratio is 3 out of 6 times the profits. Okay. Now we are going to take them one after the other. So you are calculating for each share here. So we have back to F4, which is 1 out of 6 times the profit. The profit is 3,600. 3,600 here. And every whole number is over 1. And multiplication means what? When you multiply something, it means you multiply the numerators and then you multiply the denominators. Now we have this one here, which is 1 times 3,600 all over 6 times 1. Okay, good. Then you do your cancellation. 6 goes here, 1. 6 goes into 3,600. Let's use long division to solve this one. We have 6 here, and then sharing 3,600. Okay. So when you're using long division to solve or cancel the 3,600, we are going to share the numbers one after the other. That is how the long division works. So you first share the 3. If 6 people sharing 3 items or 3 cities, they can't share because 6 is bigger than 3 here. So that day they will receive 0 because they can't share the 3. So use the 0 to multiply the 6 to check whether there will still be a remainder. 0 times 6 will give you 0. When you subtract, you get 3 here because this is the money they left behind. Then the next day, they are going to share 6, but they have 3 as a remainder here. So you attach the 6 to the 3, making it 36. 6 sharing 36 or 6 times 7 and a closer or equal to 36. Okay, 6 times 6 will give you 36. So you write a 6 here. So this time 6 sharing 36 is possible. Then let's check whether there will still be a remainder. Let's use the 6 here to multiply the 6. Okay, let me write this 6 here. Well, that is 6. Okay, to confirm whether there will still be a remainder, use the 6 here to multiply this one, and then you subtract it from the 36. So 6 times 6 will give us 36. Okay, good. When you subtract, here is 0 and here is 0. Now the next day they will share this number, so you have to drop it down, and that number is 0. 6 sharing 0, they will get 0. Okay, to confirm whether there will still be a remainder, use the 0 to multiply 6 and subtract it from this 0. So 0 times 6 will give you what? 0. When you subtract, you get what? 0 as a remainder. Then the next day they will share this one. You drop it, and then that one too is 0. That number is 0. 6 sharing the 0, 0, 0 is the same as 0. 6 sharing the 0 here is also what? 0. Then 0 times 6 will give you what? 0. Then you subtract, then you get what? 0. Okay, good. So which means that 6 cancel 3,600 times. Okay, good. Now the remaining numbers here is 1 times 600. Okay, good. All over 1 times 1. And when you multiply, you get 600 over 1. And any number divided by 1 is the same as that. So the final answer. So if we share is 600 Ghana cedis. 600 Ghana cedis. Okay. That's Ghana cedis, 600 Ghana cedis. Sorry. Sorry. Now, let's calculate the Badu share of the profit. You know, the fraction for Badu is 2 out of 6. So you multiply 2 out of 6 times the profit, which is 3,600. 3,600. And every whole number is over 1. Multiplication means what? Multiply the numerators first. Now we have the 2 times 3,600. Good. All over the denominators is 6 times 1. Now we do your cancellation. I think 6 goes here 1, and 6 goes into 6, 3,600, 600 times. Okay, cancel. Now we have the remaining numbers here. 2 times 600 all over 1 times 1. And then 2 times 600. When you have the 600 times 2, 0, 0, 12, which is 1,200. Now you have 1,200 over 1, and any number divided by 1 is the same as that. So Badu share is 1,200. Let me write it down here. That is 1,000. 1,200. Okay, good. That is 1,200. Now let's see Ali. Ali share of the profits. Now, the fraction for Ali is 3 out of the total ratio. Which is 3 out of the total ratio, which is the 6. Oh. Times the profit, which is 3,600. Every whole number is over 1. Multiplication means what? Multiply the numerators first, which is 3 times 3,600. Okay. All over 6 times 1. Then you do your cancellations. You already cancel 6. So 6 goes here, 1. 6 goes into 6, 3,600, 600 times. Okay. The remaining numbers at the numerators is 3 times 600 all over 1. The remaining here is 1 times 1 here. And to multiply the 3 by 600, we have the 600 here. And to multiply by 3 by 0 is 0. Any number multiplied by 0 is 0, okay? Then 6, 3 is 18. Good. Now we have 1,000, 1,800. All over 1. Any number divided by 1 is the same as that number. Therefore, Ali share of the profits is 1,800. Okay. Then you underline. Okay. So when you finish and you add all the profits, they are shared, and you didn't get a total profit, then there must be something wrong somewhere. So let's add the profits here. We have 1,800 here plus 1,200 plus 600. Okay. Going to add all their shares together. Going to add them. Okay. And double check what we have done here is correct. So the 0 plus 0, 0 here is 0. We have another 0 here. 8 plus 2, 10 plus 6, 16 plus 1 here. Okay. And that will be 3. Okay. Good. So it means when you share the profit of 3,600 according to their contribution, then Ifo will receive 600 Ghana cedis, Badu will also receive 1,200 Ghana cedis, and then Ali will also receive 1,800 Ghana cedis. The 0.200 at the back of the currency is just a symbol shows that they are in the Ghana cedis, okay? So that one, it has nothing to do. So you can either add a 0.200 here, and that is 1,200 Ghana cedis. Here, there's no space, so you can either add it somewhere, okay, 0.200, and then let's move on to the next question here. Now, Azumi and Double are to share 6,550 books in the ratio of 2 to 3 respectively. How much did each get? So Azumi and Double agree to share 6,550 books in the ratio of what? 2 to 3. So respectively means Azumi's number here is 2 and Double's numbers here is what? 3. So the fraction for Azumi will be 2 out of the total ratio, and the fraction for Double will also be 3 out of the total ratios. So let's quickly solve this one. So you write your solution. Sorry, today's video is too bad. Now, I said the first thing you have to do when you are sharing a quantity by a given ratio, the first thing you have to do is that you find the total ratio, okay? So you find the total ratio. Of 2, 3, and that one is 2 plus 3 equal to 5. This is equal to 5, and that is our total ratio. So when you're about to solve it, when you take Azumi, then you write the fraction for Azumi, and that one too is because the Azumi share or number in the fraction here is 2 out of the total ratio. So Azumi fraction will be 2 out of 5 times the books. Okay, times the books. Good. Then when you take double share will also be the fraction for double times the book, and the fraction for double is what? 3 out of the total ratio times the books. Okay, so you write 3 out of the total ratio here times the books. Okay, good. Now you back to statistics. We have the 2 out of 5 times the total quantity of the books, which is 6,550. with every whole number is over 1. Then multiplication means what? Multiply the numerators first, which is 2 times 6, 5, 5, 0, all over 5. The denominator is also 5 times 1. Okay, good. Then you do your cancellation. 5 goes here, 5 cancel 5 1. 5 also cancel 6,555. Let's do the long division here. We have the long division machine, and then the 5 will be here. You want to we want to divide 6,550 by 5 here. So here is 6, 5, 5, 0. Okay, I'm going to share this one. So when you are using long division, we take the numbers one after the other. Okay, good. So the first number in the machine is 6. So 5 sharing 6, 1. Okay, each will get 1 first. To confirm whether there will be a remainder, use the 1 here to multiply the 5, and then you subtract it from the 6. So 1 times 5 will give you 5. When you subtract the 5 from 6, you get a remainder 1, which means that 5 sharing 6 is 5, but the remainder that they left behind is what? Is a 1. So the next day that they will share a number called 5 here. So you drop that 5, but don't forget they have a remainder here. So when you attach the 5 to the remainder, making it 15. So 5 sharing 15 here is 3. Then to confirm, always confirm whether there will still be a remainder before you share the next number. So in order to confirm, use the 3 to multiply the 5 and subtract it from this 15. So 3 times 5 will give you 15. And then you subtract. Here is 0 and here is 0. Okay, good. When you subtract, it means this time there's no remainder, but they will continue to share the next digit. The next digit here is also 5. So you attach it to the remainder here because the remainder is 0. So 005 is the same as 5. So 5 sharing this 5 is 1. Okay. Then to confirm whether there will still be a remainder, use the 1 here to multiply the 5, and then you subtract it from here. So 1 times 5 will give you what? 5. This 5 is too big. So when you subtract the 5 from the 5, you get 0. Okay. The next day, there's another number here, which is 0. So you share the 0. Okay. You have a remainder 0, but the number that we are going to share for the last day is what? Is 0. 5 sharing 0 is what? 0. To confirm whether there will still be a remainder, 0 times 5 will give you what? 0. And then you subtract, you get what? 0. When you subtract, you get 0. Then, which means that 5 sharing 6,550, 6,550, 1,300, 1,300 and 10 times. Okay, good. Now you proceed. The numbers left at the numerators here is 2 times 1, 3, 1, 0. Okay, all over 1 times 1. Okay, and then you multiply 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, 0 by 1 by 2 right down. So here is 0, here is 2, here is 6, 2, 3 is 6, and 2, 1 is 2. Now we have 2, 6, 2, 0 all over 1. Therefore, every number divided by 1 is the same as that. Therefore, Azumi's share of books will be 2,620 books. Okay, books. Good. And write the books well. Books. Okay. Good. Now let's back to double. Double's fraction is 3 out of 5 times the total quantity, which is 6,550. Then here will be 3 out of 5 times the total quantity of the books, which is 6, 5, 5, 0. Okay, every whole number is over 1. Multiplication means what? You first multiply the numerators, and that one is 3 times 6, 5, 5, 0. Okay, all over the denominators will be 5 times 1. Then you do your cancellation. We know already that 5 goes here, 5 goes here, 1, and 5 cancels 6,550, 1,310 times. Okay, now the remaining numbers here is 3 times 1, 3 here, 1, 0, all over the remaining denominator is 1 times 1, because we have cancelled the 5. And then you do your statistics somewhere. 1, 3, 1, 0 times 3. We have 0. 3 times 0 is 0. 3 times 1 is 3. 3 times 3 is 9. 3 times 1, which is 3. So when you multiply 3 by 1,310, you get 3,930 over 1 times 1 here is over 1. Therefore, the total books for double is 3,930 books. Okay, good. books. So that is the share of doubles books. When you finish, you add the two quantities to double check whether what you have done is correct. Now we have 2,620 books, which was allocated to Azumi. And then you add it to the one, you add it to the one given to double, which is 3,930. Okay, so you're going to add whether you get the total quantity shared. Now 0 plus 0 here is 0, 3 plus 2, which is 5, 6 plus 9, 15. So we write 5 and then plus 1. Okay, plus the remainder here, plus 1. And then you have the 1 plus 2, 3 plus 3, 6. Okay, which means that we share the books according to the given ratio perfectly. Okay, good. Now let's solve the last example. I think this one will be the last one. The question says what? The three combined investors share a profit of 1,540 Ghana cedi in the ratio of 7:5:8. Find only the least share. Which means that the three people who sat, or the three businessmen, are to share a profit of 1,540 in a given or in an agreed ratio of what, 7:5:8. The question asks you to find the least, the smaller share of the profits. Now, when you look at the ratio, it is very simple. The smaller share of the person will be getting the least or the minimum amount of the profits shared is exactly the 5, because when you find the total ratios and then you write them in a fraction form and do the comparisons and choose the smaller fraction, and then you multiply by the profits. Okay, so let's solve it. You write your solution. Good. And then you find the first thing when you are sharing a quantity or amount of money by a given ratio. The first thing you have to do is that you find the total ratio. So I'm going to find the total. I'll find the total ratio. Total ratio of 7:5:8 to 8, and that is 7 plus 5 plus 8, and that one will give you 20. Okay, that one will give you 20. Good. So you write the fraction for them. So when you take the first person on, the names were not given, but we know there are 3 based on the ratio given here. So the fraction here, the first person's on will be 7/20. The next person will also be 5 out of 20. And then the last person, the fraction will be 8 out of what? 20. So assuming that the money is 20 Ghana cedi, the first person will be taking 7 out of the 20 Ghana cedi. The second person will be taking 5 out of the 20 Ghana cedis. And then the last person also be taking the 8 out of the 20 Ghana cedis. So based on the comparisons, it is obvious that since the denominators are 20, 20, 20 here, the one having the bigger numerator here is greater. So the smaller fraction here will be the 5 out of 20, which is the smallest one because the 8 and 7 are bigger than what? 5. So the one who will be getting the least amount will be the 5 times 5 out of the 20 times the profit. Okay, good. So the least share, you write your least share here. Equals, then the question says find only the least share. So the minimum share, looking at the minimum ratio, and that will be the 5 out of 20 times the profit. Okay. Then you move on. 5 out of 20 times the profit is 1,000. That is the profit. That is 1,540 Ghana cedis. Every whole number is over 1. Multiplication means you just multiply the numerators first. So the numerators, we have 5 times 1,540 all over 20 times 1. Okay, then you start do your cancellation here. The last 0 here will cancel the last 0 here. Okay, good. Now the remaining numbers, which is 5 times 154 all over 2 times 1. Okay, you can still do the cancellation. 2 goes here, 1, 2 goes here. Then you do your long division to prove. Now you have your machine, and then you have the number that you want to use the 2 to share or to divide is 154, and the 2 will be outside here. You will take the numbers one after the other. So 2 sharing the first number here, which is 1. Okay, so 2 sharing 1. If 2 people are sharing 1, they will receive nothing because it can't be possible. 2 cannot share the first 1 here. So that they will receive 0. Okay, 2 can't share the 1, so they receive 0. Then let's check whether there will still be a remainder. Use the 0 to multiply the 2, and then you subtract it from the 1. So 0 times 2 is what? 0. When you subtract, you get the remainder one here. Okay. The next day, they'll go and share the 5. But don't forget, they have a leftover of 1. So when they attach it, it will be what? 15. 2 sharing 15. 2 sharing 15, or 2 times 10 equals or equal to 15. That is 7. Then to confirm whether there will still be a remainder, use the 7 to multiply the 2. 7 times 2 and subtract it from the 15. And that one is 14 here. So when you subtract the 14 from 15, here will be 1 and here is 0. 0, 1 is the same as 1. So the next day, you have to share the last digit. You drop it down to the remainder, and the remainder is 1. So when you attach the 4, making it 14, 2 sharing 14, and that is 7. Okay. To check whether there will still be a remainder, use the 7 to multiply the 2 and subtract it from the 14. So 7 times 2 is 14. Is 14. And then you subtract, okay? When you subtract, here is 0 and here is 0. There is no number to drop down, and remainder here is 0, okay? Therefore, 077 is the same as what? 77. Now let's proceed. So which means that 2 2 cancel here, 77, okay? Good. Now the remaining numbers here is 5 times 77 all over 1 times 1, okay? And that one will be, you do the calculation somewhere, 77 times 5. 75 is 35. So write 5, remainder 3, 75, which is also 35. So 35 plus 3, and that will be 38. Okay, good. That will be 38. All right, the 38 will. That will be 38. Okay. So when you add, here will be 8, and here will be 3, and that is 38. So which means that here is 3, 8, 5 over 1. And the final answer will be in Ghana cedi, okay? Because you are dealing with the money. Then the least person will receive 385 Ghana cedis, okay? Don't put the 2 digits here. 385 Ghana cedis. Okay, so here, don't waste time to calculate each person share, but if you're able to identify the least person or the least fraction, then you do the calculation. If you decided to calculate all and then you choose the minimum amount, that one choose is accepted, but it's a waste of time. Question asks only the least share, so the minimum amount, the the person who contributed least or the person who received the small amount based on the 1,540 that they are going to share will be the 385 Ghana cedis. Okay, good. Thank you for watching. Talk later. Bye.